he is not a stupid man, and he recognizes the price Russian economy is paying. It is high inflation, and what we see in this year, ever end of the previous year, is the contraction in the non-military sectors. The Central Bank of Russia tries to fight inflation. Its interest rate is 21%, and definitely it's a devastating effect on all industries looking for banking credit.
Now, Vladimir Putin's war economy has started to slow down after seeing strong wage increases since 2022. The Russian president is believed to have retooled his economy, so much directed at the conduct of the war in Ukraine. Let's talk to, well, I've been talking to Oliver Moody, the Berlin correspondent for The Times, and he shared what the agreement in Berlin involved.
Everyone seems to assume that these new weapon systems are some kind of cruise missile, like the Taurus. However, the German Defense Ministry says that whatever this mysterious system is has already been deployed in the Ukrainian armed forces and can be used in Ukraine within weeks. And Zelensky himself in the press conference actually referred to drones. So what this appears to be is some kind of joint German-funded strike drone that is being produced in Ukraine.
Now, I can talk now to Sergey Aleksashenko, the head of economics at the Nest Center, who was the former deputy finance minister of Russia. Welcome to you.
John, thanks for having me.
You're very, very welcome. And I'm sure you would have seen an article, an interesting one, in the Wall Street Journal today, which discusses the Russian economy and how it has become, well, very much a wartime economy, between weapons production, the enormous amount of manpower now employed in the military. The Russian economy, it's argued, and Putin's position now is built around waging war, not seeking peace. What's your thought on that?
John, answering this question and looking on the article, we have to recognize that we don't know what is in Putin's mind. And any person, any writer, any journalist trying to say, I know what's going on, he is wrong. And I'm not sure that Putin is ready to run all his life till the end war, because he is not a stupid man, and he recognizes the price Russian economy is paying. It is high inflation, and what we see in this year, ever end of the previous year, is the contraction in the non-military sectors. The Central Bank of Russia tries to fight inflation. Its interest rate is 21%, and definitely it's a devastating effect on all industries looking for banking credit. So we saw the data for the first quarter. GDP demonstrated very mild growth compared to the first year of the previous quarter. It's less than 1.5%, but that means it is lower than in the third quarter of the previous year. So that is Putin definitely recognized. And being in the shoes of his economic advisors, I am definitely able to draw a roadmap for partially demobilization of the Russian economy. Not full. Of course, Putin will look to reestablish his military arsenal. Of course, he is not ready to demobilize all his soldiers that passed through the war experience, and maybe he will be able to realize the 20 years old dream to build a professional army in Russia. Yeah, if you have 800,000 servicemen on the ground, and okay, let's keep half of them. It will be a professional army for the next decade. And that doesn't mean he is going to run the war. Moreover, even let's put ourselves, not me, but you, let you be Putin for this discussion. And you are looking for the next war. War against whom? War against the United States? But does it mean that you need to produce drones? That is the major driver of the Russian economy today. No. If you want to run a war against Poland, let be. But you need tanks. Tanks that are resistant to the current anti-tanks weapons. That means you have to design this tank and to produce it in a massive quantity. So it will take years. So answering the question, does Putin want the war? You have to answer which war, against whom, and what does he need for this war. Does it mean that he needs the current army and the current military industry?
Okay, but Sergey, in the here and now, yes, we have the news today that Russia's proposing talks around a memorandum. I mean, no one surely is going to imagine that memorandum represents a serious push towards the negotiating table under ceasefire. And meanwhile, well, Russia is pushing on the front line against Ukraine, gaining some ground slowly, but some ground. All the indications, is this not fair, that we can all see, suggest that right now Putin wants to keep on fighting and keep on stalling. That is a fair reading, is it not?
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. But he keeps the initiative. He has greater manpower. He has greater military industry. His military industry is able to produce much more weapons than Ukraine plus Europe combined. United States virtually stopped or ending their military supplies of weapons and systems. So why not? Why not? The last week, Putin's army got something like 100 square kilometers.
Yes.
That is the biggest result after 2023. So why not? Why not to continue? He keeps initiative. He's judo master. If you have initiative, if you see weak position of your opponent, why not to press?
Right.
Yes, of course. You have strength. You have strong cards during negotiations.
Right. Well, does that not support the argument that we see today deployed? Today, I mean, Russian military production, it's boosted wages, Sergey, hasn't it, in Russia, including in some poor regions. It won't be easy to pull back from that.
Yes, correct. If we take servicemen on the ground and if we take defense companies, all in all, with family members, it will be something like 8% of Russian population. It's a lot. And a lot of servicemen, they came from the poor regions, and their families get money they never saw. Even if you are killed in action, your family will get your civil salary for the next 15 or 25 years. So they will be rich until the next generation. Yeah, of course, there is a lot of supporters, and they know what they are dying for. Yes, that's true. But the military sector looking for manpower, defense sector looking for the manpower, they cause a rising of wages in the civil industries because they need manpower as well. And that I would not say that the wages stalled or wages are frozen or wages are declining in real terms. No, till we have the very recent data, it is January and February this year, still it is 16% above the previous year with the official inflation of 10%. So that means in a year, the real wages in the economy increased by 5.5%.
Yes.
Not so bad.
Yeah. Well, look, I guess common ground then. The Russian economy now is just so heavily invested in war fighting now, but in a sort of militaristic approach to the economy in the future. For now, Sergey Aleksashenko, thank you so much for joining us.